We have reached Women's History Month once again. Obviously, the most important and most historically significant month of the entire year, naturally. And of course, as the biggest women's rights and women's history supporter of all time, this cannot be disproven. I have decided that to celebrate the first day of this glorious month, we will be reacting to a video about women's history. So let's jump right on in.
Now, kicking off Women's History Month on this March 1st, and we want to turn now to Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang, who's going to give us a little history lesson on how it all grew into the celebration we now know today.
It's March 1st, which marks the beginning of Women's History Month, a month-long celebration to honor women's often overlooked contributions to American history.
Look at that calendar. Look at the faces on there. Some of the most influential people of all time. People like AOC, and Hillary Clinton, and Kamala Harris. The greatest speakers of our time. Basically, modern day Aristotles. Except they're women, so they're better, obviously. But, I mean, if we're going to do Women's History Month, can we at least have some cool women on there? Like, why Hillary Clinton and AOC and Kamala Harris? These are some of the dumbest and some Hillary Clinton, one of the most evil people on the planet. Hillary Clinton, of course, tied to Bill Clinton. We all know what they've done, but I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't want to get found with two shots to the back of my head, which would have never happen, of course, if you speak bad about the Clintons. They're the most peaceful and great people of all time. I love them and support everything they do. Remember that. Okay? All right, bye, CIA. You can leave the video now. All right, getting back to the point, though. Let's at least have some cool women on there. Like, can we find any better than those three? Like, there's gotta be a few. Come on, guys. Let's do better. Let's do a little better.
Like those of Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman to officially become a doctor in the United States in 1849.
Wow, oh my gosh, she really made a difference by being a doctor who happened to be female. It's literally all she did. She ain't special, guys. Come on.
Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, all leaders in the women's suffrage movement.
What heroes! They were a giant part of a movement that would lead to the eventual complete and utter downfall of the West and the United States specifically. I'm so happy they were a big part of history. What awesome movement and cultural changers. They totally didn't lead a movement that would inevitably result into sexual liberation, which would not only destroy the family, but also a movement that resulted in the mass murder of millions of babies. Wow, wow. I'm really glad they did something real significant. They were great people. And I mean, they probably weren't bad people, but what they led was awful. Let's not pretend like it was anything less than that.
And Harriet Tubman, who led hundreds of enslaved people to freedom.
All right, I got nothing against Harriet Tubman, but Robert E. Lee freed more slaves. I just want to get that on the table. Harriet Tubman seemed like a good person, though. So, you know what? She can be on the list. That's chill. Good for her.
But what's the history behind Women's History Month? It all began in 1978 with only a week-long celebration. It was organized by the Sonoma County Commission on Women. The week of March 8th was selected to correspond with International Women's Day, which had been celebrated around the world on March 8th since 1911. The movement began to gain momentum, and the following year, other communities and school districts initiated their own celebrations of Women's History Week. Then in 1980, the National Women's History Project lobbied for national recognition, and they were heard, because in February of that year, President Jimmy Carter issued the first proclamation, which declared the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week. 6 years later, the same organization petitioned for an expansion on the event, and in March of 1987, Congress passed Public Law 100-9, proclaiming March as Women's History Month. Now, every March and all month long, we celebrate countless extraordinary women who've earned their place at the table.
Look at how all of the women they chose for that were either fighting for something bad, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, AOC, for that little panel that they just had, or were just insignificant in history, like they were like modern day athletes. That, I mean, let's be honest, women's sports, it just isn't the same as men's sports. So they're doing less cool stuff. It's less impressive what they managed to accomplish, which is fine. I mean, it's cool that they did what they did. And that's whatever. That's cool. It can be recognized. But we have a month for it for recognizing women who competed in sports, did a good job against other women, and women who fought for evil things. Again, Hillary Clinton, AOC, those types. That's awesome. Why can't they at least have cool women on there? Like Harriet Tubman, that was cool. They can have her on. She's chill. But like Joan of Arc or someone like that. Joan of Arc was dope. She was very epic. Fought for God. Who doesn't love Joan of Arc? They don't put her on there because she actually made a real difference, and she was a true fighter. She was cool. They don't like cool women. They like lame women who did nothing cool. And the only special part about the women that they chose to put on that panel was that they were women. At least for Women's History Month, recognize people who should be recognized in history for something more than being a woman, right? At least give recognition to people who actually deserve it. Again, people like Joan of Arc. Because there are women out there who totally deserve recognition. But we fail to do that during Women's History Month, which is why it's kind of a joke. Actually, not kind of. It's completely a joke. It's unnecessary. Just teach history as it is. We don't need history for certain groups. Just if a group gets into history, then they will be taught about in history. That's kind of how it works. Just play a significant role of it in history, and your group will be taught about it. Women obviously play an incredibly important role in all of history. I mean, the family wouldn't work without the nurturing aspect of women. Amazing part. America would not function without women. The country would fall apart and die without women. But let's not act like Kamala Harris is something special just because woman strong, woman empowerment, and the Women's Suffrage Act and feminism, it's all just leading to the destruction of this country, and it's actually degrading women to nothing more than sex objects, which is incredibly unfortunate. With the sexual liberation movement, that's what it's led to. It's led to pornography, which just sexualizes women, and it's disgusting, and we need to stop supporting it. It should be banned, illegalized, and we should go back to traditionalism back when women actually did have a role that truly mattered in society and men had a role that truly mattered in society instead of a bunch of worthless sheep that walk around brain dead shouting, "Ooh, yeah, woman empowerment." It's ridiculous, it's dumb, and we need to make a change. But I'm going to wrap it up on that note. So, if you enjoyed, go ahead and like and subscribe. We are destroying libtards every single day here. So, like I said, if you enjoy that, if you enjoy this self improvement, politics, and conspiracy content, a video a day, like I said before, go ahead, like and subscribe, share the video, join the fight. The only way we're going to win is if we're fighting together. So, go ahead and join me. It's epic, it's based. So long, peace out, and God bless y'all.